All right, so let's open IntelliJ. For familiarity again, I'm going to create one more new project through Springboot. Okay, so first let's create more and more projects, right, so that you get comfortable. So how do we create the project? We should type Spring Initializer in Google, right? You see the first website, start.spring.io. So you click there, it opens Spring Initializer website, right? So all our projects we are learning with Gradle, so we select Gradle Groovy on the project, and then the language is Java that we are learning about, only Java. Next, the Spring Boot version, as I was mentioning, it is always recommended to select the oldest version, not the latest version, because also always the oldest versions will be more stable, right? And then we have project metadata, right? So in the group we can put anything, so I put com.finops. The artifact is nothing but the application name, right? So artifact is nothing but the application name that we are going to develop, right? So this time I'll create an application name like customer service. Customer service. By typing the artifact, the name is automatically populated, right? On the description you can put anything on your own, right? You can say developing or managing customer data, right? So with the customer service application we manage customer data. Then the package name, if you see, this has been automatically populated, right? That is because we had given the group as com.finops and then the application name, that is customer service. Next, the packaging, there are two types, jar or var. So jar is nothing but Java archive, var is nothing but web archive, right? So all applications that we are developing are the web applications, so it is recommended to develop web archive, right? That is var. Next, the Java versions, just now we were seeing Tej Vinay was selecting 11, but his laptop had the latest version as only 8 only, right? So while selecting the version here, you need to be a bit considerate about the version that you have in your laptop, right? So I select Java 8. Next, the dependencies, right? The very first and minimum thing that we need is the Spring Web. We say just type web, so you get Spring Web get highlighted here. Just select this, right? Once you do all these things, you have an option called generate in the bottom, right? So this generates a zipped folder, right? Zipped folder. You can go to downloads. You can go to downloads, copy this, put it somewhere in your directory wherever you prefer, like D drive, E drive, or wherever it is, right? So I prefer somewhere here, somewhere 2022, and I paste the zipped folder here. Once I paste the zipped folder, the next step is to unzip it, right? Right click. So for me this is the Apple Mac, so I see this option, otherwise you should see extract all options on doing the right click in your Windows laptops, right? Now we have the application created, the project is generated or created with all these files and folders. The most important files and folders here are for us the build.gradle, because we selected Gradle here, that's the reason you should see build.gradle, right? All others are auto generated, you don't even have to open and see what it is there, they are least important. Then src is the folder that is most important, this is where we develop all our code, right? So now we need to open our project in the IDE. What is our IDE? It is IntelliJ. Go to IntelliJ. On top, you should see option file, open. It will open window like this, right? So in which directory I had pasted our project, that was under work. Just a moment, please. It's just loading. Yeah, under work, projects, December 2022. Next, the customer service. This is the application we just generated through Springboot, right? You should go inside, you should select only the build.gradle file, not the entire project. You should go inside the project, you should select only the build.gradle file. Save, open as project. So this takes few seconds to load the project. This is a empty skeleton project which doesn't have any functionality inside, right? Now we are going to implement all the functionality that we want. Let's wait for this to complete. So for the first time when you are loading the project, it takes little more time. So we should wait. It is successful. Let's wait this. Yeah, this is also completed. This is also completed. The last one is at the bottom, right? Yeah, everything is completed. Now our project is ready to work, right? So the next step, soon after loading the project, is on the right hand side you should see Gradle, right? You should click there. You should see our project name. Under it there will be two options. One is tasks and dependencies. Forget about the dependencies, you don't even have to worry about it, right? You should expand the tasks. Under tasks there are multiple options like application, build setup, documentation, help, other, and verification. So you don't have to worry about all this. You should worry about only the build option. Okay? You expand the build again. Inside build again, you see so many options. The only option that you need to worry is build. So right click on the build, select the first option, that is run. This will build the project locally. That means it will download all the required dependencies, and also all the required setup will be done through this step. This again takes few seconds. You should just wait. Alright. This is completed. You should see the message build successfully. Clear. Let's implement the first functionality. Right? So far I think yesterday or day before yesterday we had seen the simple APIs like hello controller, hi controller, right? And then what else we had seen? We had also seen the calculator application, right? How the calculator is implemented, right? So today we are going to implement one simple uh, voting application, right? When I say voting, it is just like applying yourself for the voter card, right? How it will be implemented. So the first step is to create the package. What is the package? It should be the controller package. Controller package. So inside the controller package, you need to create a new class, new Java class. That is water controller. I would say water controller. So once we create the application class, the water controller, the immediate step is to write annotation, that is at the rate rest controller. At the rate rest controller. So we need to start writing a APIs, right? The REST APIs. So I should say get mapping, get mapping. The path is create what, right? Create what. Now public string create water. Right? So what are the parameters we need for creating the water? We need to have this name, string name, and what else? Right? Path variable in age, right? So we'll go with only these two basic information, right? Usually in real time we need to have a lot of other information like Aadhaar card number and then the date of birth, right? All such things, right? So we just take only these two parameters and then see how it works. Later we enhance it with all the other information. Yeah. So what is the criteria for any person to get the voting eligibility? I think it is 18 years, right? 18 years, right? So how do we check whether the person has 18 years or not, right? So anyways, we are passing age as a parameter. Age as a parameter, right? So we should say if age is greater than 18, right? Age is greater than 18. Return name plus is eligible for voting and added to voter list successfully. Voter list successfully. Else return name plus is not, its space here, is not eligible for voting. Not add to the voter list. Think whenever you apply for vote, this is the basic thing that they look for, right? What is the age? If it is greater than 18, then they will say eligible for voting, and then they will take all the details, and then you will get the message saying that your name is added to the voter list successfully, right? If not, you will get the message that not eligible for voting, right? Now this is the first API that we have created. Now we need to run this application. How do we run this application? Go to the project, right? So the main application, the main class, if you see here, the main class is customer application dot java. Why? Because our application name is customer service, right? Our application name is customer service. So the class whichever is having the main method will be automatically generated with the customer service application, that means project name and then application. This is common. The application in the end is the common thing, and before that whatever the application name you give, that will be added here, right? So now we are going to run the project. So we need to do the right click here. You should see the option run customer service dot main. I hope no other project is running on 8080. Let's wait for the message that application is started. Yeah, you see the message, started customer service application. Started customer service application. The port number is 8080. Right? I think we missed something here. We did not add the parameters here, right? In the name page. So let's restart the application because we made the changes. Let's go to the browser and then see. So how do we access this? Localhost colon 8080 slash create hyphen voter slash sumant slash 20. Application is not started properly. Let's restart once again. Yeah, you see the application is started on the port number 8081. So now I refresh this page. Create voter. Is it not the one that we have here? Create hyphen vote. Sorry, this should be vote, right? Because the code we had put create hyphen vote. Sumant is eligible for voting and added to the voter list successfully. Right now, I'll give for the same Sumant the age as 17. Okay, Sumant is not eligible for voting, could not add to the voter list. This is what exactly you see whenever you try to apply for anything on your mobile devices or the websites, right? Anything, right? Whatever you see on the screen, on the browser, so everything will be triggering one REST API in the background. REST API in the background. Any doubts, guys, so far? Similarly, we can create many other controllers, right? For example, I create bank account controller, bank account controller. The very first step that we need to do is at the rate rest controller the rate get mapping create hyphen account public string create bank account is the method name. So what are the parameters we need for the bank account to be created? Create path variable string name create path variable int page create path variable string mobile number what else create path variable string email id create path variable string address I would say create path variable string nominee right. These are the few important information we need while creating any bank account if you go to any bank, right? In fact, you can add your Aadhaar number also at the rate path variable string Aadhaar number. So, anyways, are there any specific conditions for anybody to get the account created? No, right? I think anybody can get the bank account, right? There is no age limit, right? So we don't have to do any conditions here, right? But we need all this information as the mandatory information. We need all this information as the mandatory information. So I will say first I'll check for the name. If name dot length equal to 0, right? Written name is mandatory. Name is mandatory. Similarly, I do the check for other parameters also. If age equal to 0, so you cannot create the account for anybody whose age is 0, right? Age should not be 0. Next, if mobile number mobile number dot length is 0, and please provide mobile number. Next, if email id dot length equal to 0, return please provide email id. If address dot length equal to 0, return please provide If what are the other fields? Nominee and Aadhaar number. Right? If nominee dot length equal to 0, return please provide nominee details. If what is the last field? Aadhaar number. Aadhaar number dot length equal to 0. Right? Please provide return. Please provide Aadhaar number. If everything is fine, right? If everything is fine, what should we say? Account created successfully, right? Return account created successfully for plus name plus name. Okay. Now we need to add this here, all the parameters, right? The name, age, hash, same field names we should copy paste instead of typing. Okay, that way you will not do a mistake while typing, otherwise it will not map. Mail ID, address. Whenever you try to access any website, right, you just try to notice the URL, right? You will see a lot of information like this. Whatever you put here, the same information will be coming. Based on that only, you will be seeing the screen getting populated, the browser getting populated, right? All right. So now we have implemented the create bank account functionality, right? So let's restart the application. Stop the application, start the application. After making each and every small change, we need to restart the application. Otherwise, the changes will not take into effect. It is mandatory to restart the application for every small change. Whether it is a small change or big change, it doesn't matter. You need to restart it. Yeah, application is started with the port number 8080. Let's go back to the browser. Can somebody tell what should be the URL now?
Localhost
Localhost
colon 8080
colon 8080
slash.
slash.
I need to see the remaining thing.
You can refer it here.
Create account.
Yeah, create account. Next.
Name slash name.
Slash name means should we give the name or somebody's name here?
Like we need to give the name.
We need to give the name, right?
Name.
Somebody's name. So I'll give Siddhik slash next.
Uh, age.
Age is 30. I'll give next.
Mobile number.
Mobile number. I'll give something. Next.
And email ID.
Email ID sid@gmail.com slash
Address.
address hod slash
Nominee.
nominee's name, somebody's nominee. I just put on. Next,
Aadhaar number.
Aadhaar number. I think we need to give what are the number of digits in the Aadhaar number? I think 4 into 3,
It is
12, right?
12. 12. 12.
12 digits, right?
Yes.
So 9876. 5432 and account created successfully. For example, by any chance, just remove the Aadhaar number. Right? It is not able to find because it is not able to match the URL here. It is not able to match the URL. Slash and slash still we get it is not able to match the URL. Likewise, right? You should see these messages in a different way, right? Basically, when you do the response body rate, that is going to be a next topic, right? When you do the implementation using the response body or the request body, then you should see all these messages, right? That is going to be a next topic. Clear, guys? Any doubts?
Now
Anybody?
these messages won't be printed, sir. Like you didn't enter the Aadhaar number. It should have returned as please enter the Aadhaar number, right?
Right, that's what I was trying to say, right? Here, these are the path variables,
Mm-hmm.
right? So here, what it is trying to do is, it is just if you just remove this, right? Ideally, this is where you should see the other number, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
It is just trying to match an API only this many parameters,
Okay.
only this many parameters, right? That is up to here. So it is able to match. So for that to see all these messages, right, there is a next thing which is something like a request body and a response body. That is going to be a
Oh,
different topic. There you should see that.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
So now we need to let's do like we should enhance this to have something like swagger, right? Swagger. So for that we need to add two dependencies. Two dependencies. So I just copy paste from one of the existing application. You don't have to remember this. You can just Google it out how to add the swagger, right? So this is the standard code. You just need to copy paste from any existing logic or any existing project. So in the build.gradle file, you should add under the dependencies, right? Soon after you make any changes to the build.gradle file, you need to do Gradle build. Please remember, if you make any changes to the Java classes, you should restart the application. And if you make any changes to the build.gradle file, you should come to the Gradle space here. You should do the build. That means it will download these dependencies. It will download these dependencies. If you want to see that, right? If you come here in the external libraries, you should see all the dependencies. These are all the dependencies that were downloaded while loading the application. If you remember, at the starting of the application, it has taken few seconds, right, to load the application. So what it was doing is, it was trying to download all these dependencies, right? So these many dependencies got downloaded because there were these three lines of code. There were these three lines of code. Now, in addition to that, we added these two. Please see here, io dot spring fox, right? Here you should not see that. You should. Do you see any io dot here? No, right? You don't see it, right? But if I do the build now, that will come there. Just keep an eye. This might be added somewhere, but yeah, we should see. Now the next step is to create the config package. So far we had seen creating the controller package. Now let's create a package for config. Config. Here we create a class called swagger config. Swagger config. Even for this, I am not going to write any code on my own. This is a standard code. You can just copy paste from anywhere, right? So this is one of my existing application. I'll just copy paste. Okay. Imagine Swagger 2. Yeah, still the dependencies are not downloaded. Let's refresh once again. Now all the errors had gone, right? If you come here, do you see io dot spring fox, the dependencies that we added here? Where is it? Yes. io dot spring fox hyphen swagger 2, and then the version is 2.6.1, right? Similarly, you should see io dot spring fox and then spring fox hyphen swagger hyphen ui, which is that swagger hyphen ui, yeah, this one, right? Apart from these two, you see few other dependencies also, right? For example, spring fox spring web, right? We did not add it, but still we got it, right? Because this was the internal dependency for one of these two, right? Similarly, swagger hyphen common also is one of the internal dependency as part of one of these two, right? So though we added only two dependencies, we had got how many? One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9 dependencies are downloaded. 9 dependencies are downloaded, right? So all others are maybe internal to these two things, right? On high level, you just need to add these two. Internally, it gets all the related dependencies also, right? If you see here, why did we get all these dependencies, right? If you see here, we have the Springboot starter web, right? So for this also, you can see here. What is the path? org org dot spring framework dot boot colon springboot starter web. Yeah, this is the one. This is the one we actually added, right? This is the one we actually added, and also you can see the version 2.7.11, but here we did not specify the 2.7.11. But why it is getting 2.7.11? Anybody has any idea? If you see here, the line number 4, 2.7.11 is there, right? So why we had got 2.7.11 here? Because when we were generating the project from the Spring initializer, here we selected 2.7.11. 2.7.11. Because of this, this has added this line number 4, ID Springboot version 2.7.11. So automatically all the dependencies which are internal to this dependency, web dependency and this particular dependency, right? All of them are 2.7.11. See here, Springboot auto configure starter JSON, starter logging, starter test, right? You don't have to worry about all this what they does for now, right? You just try to understand how this versioning is coming here, right? And there are few dependencies with the different versions here. For example, if you see spring aop, right, that is 5327, we did not specify it here anywhere, but still this has come as part of the web dependency only. But inside the web, for this dependency, the version available is 5.3.27, right? So on high level web is 2.7.11, but internally AOP has 5.3.27. So that can be anything. You don't have to worry about these versions, right? Clear. Now we have added Spring configuration, I mean the Swagger configuration in the build.gradle file, and then we also added one Swagger configuration class here, one Swagger configuration class here. I just remove this. Now I'll run the application. How do I run the application? I should go to the main class, right? So right click, run. Null pointer exception. There is a failure. Application documents plugin bootstrapper failed to null pointer exception. So let's see what is the problem. So this is one property we need to add inside the project while adding the Swagger. So where do we need to add? You see here the resources folder. Inside the resources, there is a application dot properties file. Right? So this is just a copy paste again. Right? So basically, for adding Swagger support, there are three changes we need to do. One is adding the dependencies here, right? Second one is adding this Swagger configuration class, and third one is application dot properties file. We need to add this. This is common again across all the projects, right? Let's restart the application again. Cool. Application is started on the port number 8080. See what I'm going to do now. Localhost colon 8080 slash swagger UI.html. Do you see? We have got the bank account controller. If you just click on it, you can see what is the API available. That is create bank account and the parameters. If you click here, you can give all the options, all the data here, right? Now we have the voter controller also. If you click on it, you can see name and age, right? What is the use of this Swagger, right? If we don't have this Swagger, so far till now we were remembering all these URLs and then putting it on the URL, right? It is going to be difficult, right? Because in real-time applications, there will be thousands of REST APIs like this. There will be thousands of REST APIs like this, and it is very difficult to remember all such APIs, right? Or the URLs, right? So for that, we had got something called Swagger documentation. The main advantage of the Swagger documentation is you don't have to remember any URLs, right? You just need to run the application and then go to the browser. This is the common URL for any application. This is the common URL, right? You develop any other application, just put it in the browser after starting the application. You should see that particular applications Swagger page here, right? We just implemented for the customer service now. That is the reason in the customer service, what are the controller classes we have? We have bank account controller and voter controller, right? Bank account controller and voter controller, and there is one more default controller, that is the basic error controller. You don't have to worry about it, okay? This can be ignored. This is common, this is the default one which comes internally. You don't have to worry about it, right? Now if you see here, the voter controller, I'll just give month and age 25, right? Right out. See, this is the path. See, this is the URL, right? And what is the response? The output. Sumant is eligible for voting and added to the voter list successfully, right? Otherwise, you need to keep typing this URL in the browser. If you make even a small mistake where you just miss one slash, right? You will not be able to identify. It will give the error saying that this is not identified. This is not identified, right? So this way you will not do any mistakes, right? This is a documentation concept, right? The Swagger, which is very easy to handle the REST APIs, right? Now if you go back to the bank account controller, right? We'll give some name, month, age 30, mobile number 9876543219, email ID gmail.com, plus Bangalore, nominee, say Siddiq, Aadhaar number from 987654321987. Probably yes, right? Here, account created successfully. Let's say, for example, I don't give the Aadhaar number here. See, now it is saying it is required. It is not even taking it. It is not even accepting the input. It is giving the red option, right? It is required. It is mandatory field. It is mandatory field. This is what I was trying to say. Clear, guys? Going forward, each and every application will have this Swagger page. You write 100 controllers here in this application. You write 100 controllers here. You should see all that 100 controllers, right? And within each controller, you write another 1000 REST APIs. You should see all those 1000 APIs here, right? You don't have to remember any URLs going forward. Going forward, you don't have to remember any URLs, right? Just run the application, come to the browser, type this, right? Localhost colon 8080 swagger hyphen UI.html. This is a standard thing you can remember, right? Not only here, even if you join any job in real time also, this is a standard thing, right? You just need to specify the port number, whichever your port is running. Our application is running on 8080 by default, right? So we are putting 8080. Automatically you should see all the controllers and all the REST APIs. Directly you can come here and then execute it. You don't have to remember any URLs going forward. Clear, guys? Any doubts? I'll stop it here for today. We'll continue tomorrow on the same line. Any questions, please?